In April 1986, an explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics became one of the world's worst man-made catastrophes. And then...
They made a movie about
yes.
it. Movie about
yes.
it. A miniseries.
30 years later, HBO told us what I think is the truth.
Let me ask you this before we really get into this miniseries that we all watched and I think we all loved. Do you guys at all remember learning about this anywhere in undergrad or high school or anything?
No, nothing.
Yes,
See, I do too, and I've asked
Where did you learn about it? Where did you learn about it?
This
like
is high
not
school.
in the United States, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Yes, I was in the United States in 1986. I remember when it happened.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I do. I remember it being on the news and stuff.
Well, you weren't in high school, is what I was.
No, I said I was in the United States.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I didn't say I was in high school.
So you did learn about it though over here, not in Germany.
It was an American school anyway.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, you're on a base, weren't
so I'm sure that they were controlling our history.
Well, I've asked a few people. I'm like, hey, we're watching this, and I literally got a couple of people ask me, "What's Chernobyl?" And I'm like,
I literally
what?
I mean, I knew what it was, but I knew nothing about it. Now,
Really?
so all the history that I'm going to know about it are based off of this this mini-series that I hope it's the truth because that's all I know about it now.
It's very loosely based.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
they take some pretty big liberties here.
I got you.
But it's a good story. Let's say that.
But how would you know what the truth is? Because what it said at the end of the miniseries was that the official death toll for Chernobyl's 31. And you know that is bullshit.
Right.
And
absolutely, because they're only counting like who was
died that night right there.
Hurt in the blast or who was hurt
because everybody else died from radiation, not from...
But there's books about this. So what they've tried to do is kind of piece these together to make it all fit. And they've even admitted we've taken liberties. When you talk
because the female character in there...
is not even a real character,
no,
right?
She's made for the miniseries.
She's not. Which is played by Emily Watson. You ever seen Punch Drunk Love?
Yes.
One of my favorite films of love.
Yes.
One of my favorite films of all time.
You ever seen Minority Report? Not one of my favorite movies of all time.
Not seen that.
She's not in that.
Oh, she's not in Minority Report?
No.
Okay. Well,
okay, but she's in Punch Drunk Love. She plays Sandler's love interest in that. So her character, Ulana Komyuk, was an amalgamation.
I think you just made that up.
No, it's Ulana Komyuk was the name of her character. Was this amalgamation of all these different scientists. She was basically representing the 50 other scientists that were also working on this problem.
And it's just interesting to me about it. You know, I keep up on things typically, and I didn't know much about it.
Well, have you? I don't know. Yeah, I learned about it in history class. I'm pretty sure. Maybe science class.
Yeah,
but I just remember seeing news reports and stuff on it.
Now it's interesting that I kind of watched some of the
news reports and stuff on it.
Now it's interesting that I kind of watched some of the behind the scenes.
Well, and I've seen documentaries and stuff since then as well.
I watched the behind the scenes thing, and they were talking about how, you know, right off the bat, they have to start with the story of this guy who commits suicide, because that's really what he did, and how to tell the story. So my question is, he's taking these tapes and he's hiding them. Did those tapes get discovered?
I think he was putting those tapes there for someone to come by and get them later.
I don't disagree, but we never see that piece.
No, and you don't.
That answer.
You don't. They can only show you so. No, and you don't.
That answer.
You don't. They can only show you so much,
right,
and tell you so much.
I get that, but yeah, I was a little bit like.
But the thing that's important is those tapes got released within his country. They kind of were on the black market. Mm-hmm. They were the NWA of Russia of Russia. You know, that this is what really happened to all this stuff. And it just the whole time I was watching this, and in case nobody knows, Chernobyl was a nuclear facility that accidentally exploded in the Soviet Union, ruining hundreds and I would say scores of people.
They said probably 300,000.
Yeah, maybe 300. Yeah, man. And who knows how many other people, was just all dependent on which way the wind blew. But that's what happened there. So this is a story of a nuclear disaster and how it happened. The whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, God, I'm glad I didn't live in Russia.
Yeah,
I'm like, God, God, I'm glad I didn't live in Russia.
Yeah, I texted Russell in the middle of it.
It's like, holy
man,
crap.
Here's the one
I'm
part
glad
I will
Rocky
say that,
won that fight so that the Russians didn't. I don't live in that.
Well, and here's something that got me is I'm kind of ignorant. When I think of where Russia is, I think it's way east and way north. So I think, okay, it's over by Alaska, up north a lot. This was really like Europe, like
to the Europe.
Well, I think of the EU is what I call it, like that area.
Yeah,
it was a lot closer. Like it's even close to Finland and Turkey. I'm like, that was not where I thought it was originally.
Some of the most interesting facts in the movie is that Germany is testing the air that's blowing over, and they're the ones that tell that's blowing over, and they're the ones that tell them this is dangerously radioactive.
Well, even Poland and Sweden and Finland aren't that far away where they were finding things. That's why I was like, where is this actually at?
I mean, Poland was really close.
Yeah.
You know, so it was right. Yeah, it was right on that border.
Mm-hmm.
And
so what it is so you've got hands and all those or whatever were part of the Ukraine.
Right.
That was all part of the USSR. And so this was actually, this was definitely on the east side of Russia, the west side of Russia, which would have been the east side of Europe.
Right.
And there is no landmass that separates Europe and Russia. That was just just a bunch of small little. I mean, there's some mountain ranges and stuff, but not even huge mountain ranges. So.
Well, going back when I told people who were watching this, and they asked what, I asked them, well, you know what Fukunaga is, and no one knows what that is either, and that's practically a worse disaster. No one knows about any of this.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy to me.
Well, how would they not know about that? That was the biggest thing on news. Well, how would they not know about that? That was the biggest thing on news ever.
What was that? And that was like 5 or 6 years?
That was 2011.
Yeah.
And they were using, seawater to cool it. Instead, when that tsunami hit, things just went to hell with the earthquake and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're still containing seawater that got radiation in it. And that's crazy to think about.
Well, and that's one of those.
It was interesting throughout this. I know it's Russia's always the enemy in everything, and especially during that time frame. But how much they tried to hide.
Oh yeah.
You're more interested in saving face than saving lives.
Absolutely.
You're more interested in saving face than saving lives.
Absolutely, because at those times, to admit failure was to lose everything.
Right.
Because your position and the amount of food that you got allotted that much was so sought after and coveted that they could treat you any way they wanted to. And you would just, so to defy them was to lose your life.
Oh, yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed Skarsgård in this.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh,
he was so good.
Yeah. The acting was on point, and so were some of the scenes. Just the scenes from the long shots of them coming into the disaster happen.
Yeah.
But they're dealing with it. We don't find out till the last episode what went wrong. I thought that was cool how they shot that.
Yes.
So I kept thinking, how did this happen? What did they do? And you don't find that till the very end of the trial, which was smart how they shot it, for sure.
And that doctor, or I'm going to say doctor, the guy that was in charge that made all the decisions that think they ended up hanging for the thing, right? The decisions that think they ended up hanging for the thing, right? Or something. Or
he died of natural causes.
He died, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that guy, in the opening scenes, he said, that this guy was narcissistic, and he was, basically, he was beyond arrogant that he couldn't see how stupid he was. And
if there was really, I can't think of a promotion I would want where I'd put that many lives in danger.
Yeah.
And the things we built at Altec could hurt people.
Well, but the fundamental issue is that they knew there was a fatal flaw in the systems that they built. But they didn't tell the people that were running the systems that this flaw exists. And that flaw was when that magnesium hits that plutonium.
Yep.
I thought it was the graphite. Because the graphite was the catalyst.
Yeah, the graphite on there. Yeah,
right.
that it
was
just
cheaper.
That it just goes haywire when that happens, and they didn't know. So
all they're doing is rapidly producing.
That happens, and they didn't know. So
all they're doing is rapidly producing steam to burn that turbine to create the energy. And I don't know. Obviously, there's better ways, but I don't know.
Well, we still have a lot of nuclear plants here in the United States.
That's why
I think our regulation industry is a little bit better than theirs. And if we find them, we're not going to hide it.
No.
Their thing was they hid it because they didn't want to go and fix them all.
How intriguing was this whole thing, though?
Good. I mean, anytime I can find out about Russia in those times, and sometimes even Russia in the modern day, it's always just super. You're called the Dead Snow, I think was maybe what it was called.
Okay.
And it was about some people who mysteriously died on an outing in Russia, and it was just interesting the way that their whole society was built up. It talks a little bit about that.
It's not often that I watch a miniseries that takes up. Well, they were an hour apiece, right?
Easily.
5 hours of my time. And I was like, man, I could watch another 5 of these.
Absolutely.
Is there going to be a Chernobyl too?
Yeah.
Well, and Diane was like, so I didn't think she would be into it. We got the first one done. We rolled right into the second. And, man, it was one of those, we're in the clock. Ooh, do we watch the third? And we made the decision to not to.
Yeah.
But it was a tough decision.
Right.
We could have just killed it. And Jared Harris, the guy who plays the head scientist.
How good was he?
Did you guys watch The Terror?
No.
Man, that's good. It's a Ridley Scott show. They're coming out with the second season. Of course, it can't be the same cast and stuff because, it can't. But he's kind of the main character in that. He's fantastic in that show.
Yeah, he was
and
so
he was
good in this.
so good in this one.
Yeah.
Just mind-blowing how different the culture is. And the one person I want to see more of, do you remember at the very episode 1, the elder that got up and calmed the room down and said, we're going to do this because we're going to control the information? We didn't see him again.
Yeah.
We never saw him. And I'm like, oh, this guy's going to be a big player.
Yeah.
Nothing about him. But there were a lot of those kind of behind-the-scenes guys, which, I don't know, it's just a different culture. It's just so weird. The only thing I didn't like, episode 4, they spent a lot of time with the soldiers and the killing of the dogs and this and that.
And what was that?
I'm so depleted on people helping that we're pulling civilians to come in and do this. But
right.
I think they could have done that a lot better, and it took up a lot of the episode.
It took a lot.
We spent at least 30 minutes with that crew, that group of 3.
And then we got nothing with
That's just, I didn't
Yeah,
like
it was
No
kind of
payoff.
odd. I think they were maybe just showing a loss of innocence.
Yeah.
Or innocence.
Yeah.
Or something
Kids-
was what was being
I
played
get where
out
you're
there.
coming from.
That look, it's this thing has happened and nothing will ever be the same again after this incident in Russia. A lot of people, they were saying at the end of this thing that they really saw this as the beginning of the downfall
of the Soviet Union. Yeah.
What and how interesting that you can pinpoint one thing that
Yeah.
really became the catalyst for so many things changing. And we in Western culture, I mean, it didn't affect us at all. We don't know anything really about it. That's
Some
crazy.
of my favorite things were I love the old lady and the cow.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
That was about a 5-10 minute scene.
I
that
thought
was
for
great.
sure he was going to shoot her.
Oh, I did too. The roof cleanup with the humans and even the when they got the drones up there, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
The head miner talking to the guys when he's like, "Do these work?"
Yeah.
And then he walks
You'd be
out.
wearing
You'd
them.
be wearing them. I'm like,
Right.
that guy is.
Yeah.
That
If these
was.
work, you'd be
And then
wearing
the
them.
trial at the very end was so captivating.
Yeah.
When he finally, I'm like, he's gonna whistle blow. He's got to whistle blow.
Because you get the mystery finally unraveled for you too.
Right.
So that was great.
And I like how you could tell someone that was very uneducated could understand how the nuclear reactor worked. He explained it very well.
That
That
I
was
like
pretty
that.
cool. And if you do
That
take
was
these things
well
away
done.
that stabilize things, you're gonna get a problem. You know,
Absolutely.
that was great.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I've recommended it to a couple people.
Was it Skarsgård? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he
Stellan,
goes,
right?
he goes. I knew it wasn't important, and do you know why? And I'm thinking, tell me. I'm like, what? Why was it not important? He's because they sent me. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. That block because he was so important, but you see, he really wasn't at the very end.
Boy, and
He's just a
that
guy.
character to me was so compelling because, he was a bad guy and he was a good guy. I knew he was going to die, in it, and it was.
What they call those guys? They weren't like career something. They kept referring to him as not politic.
No, they called them politicians.
Politician, but I thought they were career something. Like the Ministry of Mining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some of those others, but
I know
Party.
what
They
you're
were
talking
party
about.
men.
party men.
Party men.
Some of those others, but
I know
They
what you're
were
talking
party
about.
men.
party
Party
men.
men.
He was a
Yeah.
career party
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that.
Well, and
They
that
gave
was
him nothing.
But they only had one party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why a one party system doesn't work.
Well, and they just told you, hey, this is what you do.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yep.
Yeah, I liked it. I'd recommend this to everybody. I think everyone should watch this.
I
for
concur.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's a great history.
Yeah.
if you truly had not heard of it before and now you know about it because of this, then they did their job.
And interested. I sat there afterwards and did research.
Well, we did that, and I've heard that spikes in tourism, because you can go tour it. You can. There's ways to do it. Has gone up like 40 to 50%.
Wow.
People are go touring this. You can pay me money.
Well, there's a really good documentary, and it's called like A Return to Chernobyl or something like that, and it shows
cool to watch.
it's like a nature documentary because it's mostly dealing with the return of plant life and animals and things like that. And there are pockets of people that never left.
And still there.
Kind of hillbilly type people.
Have you seen any of the drone footage where they've taken drones through there and got pictures? That was pretty sweet.
Very cool.
It was a little bit creepy even.
Nature took it over. I mean, it comes back.
Yeah.
So I'd like to say thanks to HBO.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
how wonderful.
They're the only thing that's doing stuff like this right now.
Oh, yeah.
So Netflix, they'll do a lot of series and things like that. You get some other cable networks and stuff, but like Gunpowder and this, no one else is doing miniseries.
This better win some freaking awards.
Good
too.
Lord, I
you
hope
know what I'm
so.
saying?
It's
got
to.
It's got to do some Emmys for sure.
It's up for those.
Yeah, good. And I'm really hoping so. So yeah, again, thank you HBO. So yeah, again, thank you HBO.
If
for
you think
allowing
about
this to exist.
One real big decision caused one place on the planet to be uninhabitable for another 10,000 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that just nuts? If you comprehend how big that is?
One person's
a couple decisions made changed the whole world.
Yeah.
Just check.
All right.
Yeah. So obviously,
highly recommended.
Highly recommended it.
It was fantastic.
Highly recommended it. Would you give it a De Niro?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. De Niro? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this series thus far has been our unanimously highest rated thing that we've seen.
Yeah.
Because this really wasn't our documentary, it was kind of our switch up.
Yeah, we're calling this a miniseries special.
Yeah.
You know, Chernobyl.
But we are going to go ahead and talk about what documentary we're recommending for next month. So
the documentary I found, I wrote The Great Hack. It's on Netflix. And it's about the big security breaches we've had. I mean, Target had a big one. I can't think of the one that's related to Facebook just this last year. And I think they dive into how secure are we. I mean, Russell's on his phone right now, and I'm already hacking him. I've already got his Snapchat.
Yeah, they're calling it the Cambridge Analytica scandal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was part of the Facebook group, is that right?
Yeah, that's an organization that mined data.
Well, you know what? We'll find out about it.
Yes.
So that's going to be
interesting.
Yeah.
I am not. I work in the IT field.
Oh yeah, perfect.
But I am not one of these people who get into see about me.
Right.
If you want to look into this boring life, so be it. But I know there's a lot of talk about it. It's very topical.
It's a big issue now. Yeah. So tune in August and we'll go over that again. That is The Great Hack.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks a lot.